Are you ready? Hey there, you are listening to Thynktank Millionaire Podcast, where on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you get an unfiltered, raw, and authentic conversation about the challenges of being an entrepreneur and tips and tricks on how you can scale your business to the next level. If you are looking to scale your business, then get ready to buckle up. Introducing our host, Alexa D'Agostino.
Hello and welcome to Thynktank's Millionaire Podcast, a podcast where you have real entrepreneurs talking about real problems and giving you the real solutions to fix to help you scale your business. Hello, everyone. My name is Alexa D'Agostino, and I am your host of Millionaire Podcast. Today, we're going to discuss having conversations in direct messages. This is messaging on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever platform you're on. There are billions of people. I mean, there's like, a billion people just on TikTok alone, right? So how do you get in front of all these people and start building relationships? And today, that's exactly what we're going to discuss. So today, I have my amazing business partner, Duno, with me. He is literally a master at the DMs, and he makes me a lot of money. So this is why I love having him on here, because he's actually the one doing it. And I'm going to be really super, super honest here. If you're talking to me in the DMs, you're probably talking to Duno. Or somebody on his team, because we do have a big DM team. But the bigger your business gets, the harder it's going to be for you to actually dedicate time to build relationships in the DM. So the truth is you have to be able to remove yourself from that process. But before you can actually hire someone to do that, you have to know how to do it yourself, because if you don't know how to build relationships in the DMs, you can't teach somebody or manage someone else to do it. And so today, that's exactly what we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss how to have conversations in the DMs. But before we dig in, a few quick housekeeping things. We're going to be giving away $1,000 towards our coaching programs. That's literally a free month of coaching with 7 to 8 figure coaches. That's just an incredible value. You can learn more about this at Thynktankmillionairepodcast.com. And the link is also in the show notes on how to participate in that. And for those that are listening, I'm so excited. We're literally a month away from being live in Vegas with an incredible full days. We're actually almost sold out right now at this point. It's a really intimate event, and we're going to come live with you, sharing everything we know about how to multiply your revenue and become more profitable. This is going to be an event that you're not going to want to miss. I'm going to have a few guest surprises that are showing up, big names. So you can learn more at thinktankevents.com. The link is also in the show notes as well. So, all right, let's dig in, Duno. Conversations. Honestly, so many people that I talk to, I mean, you're one of the coaches. So you started as a student and now you're a coach in our Passion CEO coaching program, where we've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs to scale their business. And this is probably one of the most requested master classes that we have, is how to have conversations in the DM, because people are so scared to have conversations for some reason. And I think a lot of people are scared because they just don't know how. It's like, how do you start a conversation? It's kind of a scary thing. And I always relate it to all right, when you go to a networking event, what do? You walk in and you start to have conversations with people you don't know. It's literally the same exact thing. The difference is you have millions, if not billions of people you can have conversations with. So there's no reason to be scared. It's the same thing, but yet so many people don't do it. I mean, think about how many people we know, right, that don't actually have conversations in the DMs because they don't know where to start. So, Duno, you've been doing this for me for a while. You are rocking it. Great results. I mean, appointment after appointment. So tell everybody, how do you start a conversation? What do you say? What do you do? Pretend I'm a beginner. What do I do?
Yeah. So I think the main reason most people are afraid is simply because they're afraid to hear a no, or they feel like if they hear a no, that person's probably going to block them, and something along those lines, where they're just afraid of that rejection, right? So the best way to avoid a rejection is to really come from a point where you actually care about what they're talking about, and really you're seeking to help them, to actually help them. Most people are just looking at numbers. Most people are just trying to get the sale. But when you actually come from a position of, hey, what's your problem? What kind of problem are you facing right now? And maybe I can help you, right? So things along those lines, where you're coming from the point where I can help you if I can help you, right? So to start that conversation, right, it's all going to come with your initial outreach, right? Especially if you're talking to people that are higher up who don't have time to be having conversations with you all day, your initial outreach is what's gonna either guarantee a conversation or guarantee a yes or a no, right? If you get one of those three guarantees. So your initial outreach should definitely come from either some research about them, or you know exactly what kind of problem they're facing and you know you have a solution for them. So your outreach dictates what's going to happen.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you had said something there, right? So you said people fear and are scared of rejection. So to not get rejected, actually care and come from a position to solve their problems. Now, what's interesting is I have a little tweak to that. I would come from a position to build a relationship. And here's my argument, and feel free to push back. My argument here is that at the end of the day, there's some people that don't think they have problems to be solved. Like yesterday, I was having a conversation with somebody and she literally writes me and she says, oh, I haven't been on Instagram because it doesn't produce any revenue. So I come back and say, hey, I took a look at your account and I gave her 3 pieces of feedback that she could easily go and implement and monetize her account. Now, granted, she's getting free advice from an 8-figure entrepreneur who makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month off social media, right? So just like, think about that. And her response was, I don't need your advice, but thank you. I don't have a problem. I have business elsewhere. And I'm like, this lady is missing the point. Like, are you joking me, right? So people literally, first step is, you've got to get rid of your ego if somebody's trying to help you, right? But the problem is coming from a DM perspective, when you are trying to prospect, sometimes you're going to hit people that have egos. So I also think people get scared to get rejected like that. Like if I was scared to get rejected like that and that deterred me, I would probably stop DMing. But I'm like, whatever, this lady's just an idiot and not following really good advice from somebody who makes a lot of money. And she clearly told me she makes like 30,000 a year. Well, okay, well, I make millions, so why don't you listen? But she's not. So I don't let that deter me or, get me scared for future rejection. I just write it off. I'm like, all right, your loss, not my loss. Like I have many people that want my advice. So for me, it's people are scared of rejection. So to not get rejected, actually care and come from a position of actually trying to build a relationship with somebody, right? Which leads me into, how do you not be salesy then? So if you're trying to build a relationship, but really you want to drive them to an appointment, like how can you not be salesy?
Yeah. So it all comes down to the questions that you're asking, right? Some people will ask very direct questions, and most people are going to be like, okay, this dude is just trying to sell me. This person is just trying to get me on an appointment. But when you're actually asking questions where you're looking for them to want to reply to you, right? So you always want to ask open-ended questions, not yes, no questions, right? Open-ended questions lead to conversation. The more people talk about themselves, the more they're going to like you, the more they're going to want to invest more time into you to actually going somewhere, right? Most people, they want to jump right away to get to know you on camera or on a phone call, which, that can't always happen because most people will ramble and ramble and ramble on a phone call. They'll never stop talking. So, it's always good to, if you do want to take that route where you do get them on a phone call or do get them on a virtual call right away, to make some clear boundaries like, hey, look, this is what we're going to talk about on this call, for maybe 5, 10, 30 minutes. Here's my outline. This is the way I like to have my calls so that we don't waste any time. Now, most people will understand that. If someone takes offense to that, then that's them. Like you can't be afraid of someone saying no to you, because the more no's you get, the closer you are to getting a yes, right? That's the way I look at it.
That I just want to repeat that. The more no's you get, the closer you are to getting a yes. Damn, that was good. Like, that means I need to put that on my next Instagram post. Like, and I'm going to quote Duno. Like, that was good, brother. But all right. So
thank you.
So what you're saying is you want to ask more questions up front to understand what do they actually want? Do they want to just go to a call, which is fine, but then you want to just make sure you make clear boundaries, because we've even made that mistake, right? Duno, where somebody's like, hey, I love your background. Let's jump on the phone. And then it's not very clear why we're jumping on, and it doesn't really go anywhere, right? Because we don't have time to have 18 like Zoom calls, right? So we've even tweaked to be like, yeah, would love to jump on. What's the primary challenges you're having that we can solve in this phone call? And, are you interested in our coaching program? We've made it a little bit more like, hey, yes, we'll jump on the phone with you. I don't do it often, but here's the issues. So the clear boundaries thing is so, so important. I absolutely agree. So how do you even transition? So when you're having this conversation with somebody and you're trying to build a relationship with them, how do you transition them to drive them to appointment? Like, what do you say, and how do you get them to get to that point?
Yeah. So typically it's going to come down to, again, what you're asking, right? So when you get to a point where they have stated they have some sort of problem, whether it's they don't have enough team members or their marketing isn't right, they don't have enough leads knocking out the door, right? Once you get some sort of problem, one way I like to go get them on a call is like, hey, me and my team, we do so and so, we work with something like this, our partners do this, blah blah blah, right? Something along the lines that puts you in a position of, hey, maybe I can help you with this, and I would love to cross share some strategies on a phone call or on a Zoom call with you if you're open to that. Right now, you leave the door open to, hey, if we can jump on a phone call, if you're open to hearing some of our strategies. And right there, most people will say yes, because they're like, well, if they're just sharing strategies, let me hop on, right? Because everyone needs help, and most people don't want to feel like, okay, they just want the sale. Let me hear these strategies, and it's up to me to say yes or no. You want to make it seem like it's their power, like they have the power, but you're still directing whatever is happening. You're in control, but to them, it appears as if they're in control, if that makes sense. It's all psychology.
Yeah, no, everything's psychology, right? It's actually funny because when I'm hiring marketers, I actually hire people that have psychology degrees, because it's all psychology. So just to repeat, because I think this is really important, something that you said, I'm going to summarize it: share value, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody's so scared of sharing value. Well, if I share value, then somebody's not going to hire me because I'm giving them my strategies. Well, no, because most people can't implement, and that's the problem. So you're not only going to share, hey, here's what we would do with you, but you're going to share why they need you to help them. Anybody can go Google anything, but most of the time, it's not a problem of actually getting the strategies. Everybody puts their strategies out there. It's executing it and doing it in the right order, right? Because a lot of times what I find, people like want to skip to step 10 when they need to do step 1, 2, and 3 first. And what happens is you get the silver bullet tactic. Yes, it'll make you like, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, but then it's not consistent. If you want to build a consistent business, you have to have the foundation of your business. And a lot of people skip to 10, right? Everyone needs help. And if you provide value, then they're going to be one step closer to saying yes to you, to having you help them, and because they trust you. And trust is a really, really important piece there, right?
Exactly. And the quicker you build that trust is simply how much value are you providing and how many questions they're asking, right? Most of the time, it's going to be a one-sided conversation if you're not careful, right? You want them asking you questions. You want them interviewing you while you're interviewing them, because if that's not happening, it's most likely a no, or they're just wasting your time.
And one of the things that our partner and sales coach, Matt, said, and Matt has done sales for Tony Robbins and major coaching companies. So we're so lucky to have him as part of our program as our sales coach. But he says the mute button is your best friend. And it's kind of the same thing in a chat, right? Even though there's no real mute button. But it's important to let them do the talking, because at the end of the day, when you do your talking, you're not letting them convince themselves that they need you. So the more you talk, the less that they're going to feel like they need you. You need to make it their idea that they need your help, right? So, wow, we gave a lot there. So I want to kind of back up a second and quickly summarize, because I think it's important for all the listeners to walk away with 1 or 2 things that they can implement right now, right? So the first step here is, do not be scared of rejection. You're going to get rejected. In order not to get rejected as much, actually care and build a relationship. So that's step one. Step two is ask upfront questions about what they want out of this conversation with you. Make clear boundaries on what the call is if they want to just jump on the phone, because you don't want to waste your time. And the famous Duno said, the more no's you have, the one step closer you are to getting a yes. Like, awesome quote, right? And the last piece is share value. Everyone needs help. So share value. Don't be afraid to share that value to gain trust, because it's audience trust monetization. Without trust, without them seeing that you actually know what you're talking about, it's really going to be hard to get somebody to trust you. Did I capture it all right?
Yep.
All right. Any last things, Duno, that you want to share?
I'd say confidence, right? You need to be confident enough to go after what you want, right? If you really want more calls, if you really want more appointments, and you're out here not doing what you need to be doing in terms of, hey, I need to send 50 DMs today, I need to send 50 cold emails today, you need to, I think it's called lead goals and lag goals, right? What's in your control and what's not in your control, right? You can't guarantee you're going to get appointments, but you can track how many DMs you're sending, you can track how many conversations you're having. So focus on what's in your control. That's going to lead you to your goals.
I love that. It is so true. Focus on what's in your control. I gotta just like sit on the phone with you and just get quotes from you for my Instagram. This is fantastic. So, all right. So if you're interested in learning more about our invite only coaching program, you can learn more about thynktankcoaching.com, where you can actually get me and Duno and 9 other coaches as your coach to help you scale your business. And I know you all want more of Duno, because every time I have an episode with Duno, it's one of our highest listened episodes. So right now, our last conversation we had is literally our number 1 episode right now. So I know everyone's loving these conversations about DMing and Instagram and social media. Maybe we'll even have a TikTok one in the future. So we will be having Duno back. Don't worry. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can get all the other episodes, including the other ones that we've had with Duno, on Thynktankmillionairepodcast.com. All the links are in the show notes, everyone. Make sure to subscribe. We launch these every Tuesday, Thursday on how to scale your business. This is not fluffy stuff, guys. This is real stuff coming to you from real businesses, real entrepreneurs. We make mistakes just like you. We're going to come in. We're always going to tell you the truth on what's working, what's not working. You're not going to be able to get this quality stuff anywhere else. So hope to see everyone next week, and we will be in touch. Thanks, Duno.